Then the last question then is, how do we bring the history back together with the psychology? What has changed over the course of history that increasingly brings out our better angels and stays our hands before they can commit acts of bloodshed? One possibility is that Hobbes got it right when he called for a Leviathan, a state and judicial system with a monopoly on the legitimate use of force, which can lower rates of violence, first of all, by neutralizing the incentive for exploitative attack, by imposing penalties on aggressors that cancel out their anticipated gain. Well, that can calm everyone down, because not only are you disincentivized from committing acts of violence, but you know that your neighbors and enemies are also. So that reduces the temptation to engage in a preemptive attack, to do it to them before they do it to you. It reduces the need to prove your mettle by adopting a belligerent macho stance to prove that you're capable of withstanding an attack. And of course, it reduces the need for vengeance after the fact if you outsource your revenge to a disinterested third party. That has the additional advantage of circumventing the self-serving biases that social psychologists have shown that humans are prone to. That is, in any dispute, both sides predictably believe that their own acts of aggression are justified retaliation after the fact, whereas the other guy's acts of aggression are naked attacks out of the blue. When you have both sides deluded by these self-serving biases, you can have endless cycles of vendetta and feuding, which a disinterested third party can nip in the bud. Some historical evidence comes from the pacifying and civilizing effects of states that I have mentioned throughout the talk, and the fact that you can watch this movie in reverse when government breaks down and areas revert to a state of anarchy, and they are almost always accompanied by increases in the rates of violence, such as the American Wild West, where if any of you watch the old cowboy movies, you're familiar with the cliche, the nearest sheriff is 90 miles away, so you have to defend yourself with your six-shooter. Failed states, collapsed empires, and contraband economies, areas in which goods such as drugs or minerals are traded illegally by mafias and street gangs and warlords who can't avail themselves of the dispute apparatus of the state. If you're a crack dealer and you feel you've been cheated in a deal, you can't press a lawsuit. If the other guy threatens you, you can't dial the police for protection. Your only source of protection is the credible threat of violence.